If you were a Red Ball speedrunner back in 2018, there's an almost 100% chance that you would have the Red and Blue Balls games, especially the first edition, at the bottom of your list. 3 puzzle-centered 2-player games where you don't even have the choice to control both players at the same time, often requiring lots of effort just to solve the puzzles themselves. Take RaBB 1 for example, very unintuitive puzzles that often need hints to complete.
And those hints cost money.
So surely, the record would just be a slow, frustrating puzzle-solving marathon, right? Hold up. What happened? Well, simply put, Red and Blue Ball speedrunners completely broke the game. And this is how they do it. This is the tale of Red and Blue Ball speedrunning. Red and Blue Balls, or RaBB as I will call it from now on, was created in 2010. After the success of Red Ball 2, Evgeny Fedosev, the creator of the Red Ball series, decided to go in the puzzle direction for his next game. Inspired by Fireboy and Water Girl, he decided to make a 2-player puzzle game, but still wanted to be a single-player game for some reason. So that's how RaBB came to be. Looking at its levels, the puzzle design ideas were quite questionable, and only being able to control one ball at a time certainly does not help. Thus, it is no surprise that there weren't many people trying out the game. Looking through YouTube, there was only one tutorial video I could find of the game. Dude, RaBB 2 had more, what the hell? Now, you probably expect me to introduce you to this game and all of the puzzles with this video. But that's not what I'm gonna do, and you'll see why in a second. For now, all I can tell you is that this run is spliced and sped up. The sped up part is fine, but we can't allow the splice in a true speedrun. RaBB and its successors, RaBB 2 and 3, would receive modest attention from both the casual and the speedrunning community. When many Red Ball games were starting to get more runners, RaBB's leaderboard didn't even exist. The frustrating puzzle marathon just wasn't appealing to those runners. But eventually, someone will pay attention, and our story begins here. On the 24th of July 2019, the first RaBB speedrun would be performed. The runner? YTK Bowser. After 9 years, finally, someone was on the board. You would expect from a first run that it was very scuffed, which is correct. You would also expect that I would now break down every level of the game right now, with this first run, which is something that I am not going to do.
But why, Lily? Why would you not break it down? What is there to stop you?
Oh my dear viewer, you would not expect what happened next on that very same day. Well, that escalated fast. On that day, Maximum put up a $5 bounty to whoever can find a double jump exploit in RaB, and while this technically isn't one, it still gave enough height to completely skip many puzzles in the game, and thus, in just over a day, the game was taken down from 23 minutes to 7.5. Motor Jump, as named by Motor Jam herself, blew the game wide open. Puzzle skips in levels 3, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 had completely changed the run, and even more smart routes were being used, like the bottom route in level 4 or the PJ at the start of 6. Oh, did I mention that, like Red Ball 2, this game also have paw jumps, just with much less extra height because... Actually no, I won't ramble on the technical stuff, but you can read it on the screen right now. Of course, the runs weren't particularly optimized just yet, but it was neat that the game had finally gotten going after 9 years of dormant. Maximum 736 in 15 levels and 1354 in 20, which included the 5 bonus levels made specifically for King.com, the sponsor of the game, were the world records at the end of this first fight. While the runs overall weren't so great, there was still some flashes of brilliance in there, like the first try motor jump to skip the wall in level 15. After this first spike, the game wouldn't see any new activity for the next month until a new runner by the name of Stock N would snatch the world record with a time of 6:47. The run introduced a handful of new strategies, such as a water jump in level 6, cutting a motor jump, the introduction of a motor jump in level 2 to skip straight to the platform with the box, and the omission of a motor jump in level 15 by performing this. A jump off of this boulder allowed the ball to skip over the wall guarding the gems. Surely this trivial strategy won't frustrate generations of upcoming runners who run the game. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Thought's record would begin a trend of individual runners periodically coming to the game, getting a record, and leaving it there. For the next year, Y2K Bowser and Mario would get the record, bringing little to no new strategies at all to the table, but just executing the motor jumps better and better over time. Eventually, by the end of 2020, Mario held both records with a 521 in 15 levels and 858 in 20 levels. The game was starting to get stale. No new innovation had been brought to the run in over a year, and it seemed like the run will only be improved with less mistakes and not many new strategies. Of course, at these kinds of moments, a pair of fresh eyes is all that's needed. This time, the runner of the hour is XD Xbox Jaja. Xbox would bring many new innovations to the run, most notably a motor jump in 8 and a new way to stack the boxes in level 9. With the new time save, he got the record with a 5:11. Sub 5 seemed like the biggest goal in front, and sub 4:30 seemed like the final destination for the game in its current state. But with the game having seen many of the one-off runners, it felt like it would take very long to reach that goal. But well, sometime in speedrunning, something new can change it all. Well, that was definitely unexpected. On the 6th of February, just 2 weeks after Xbox's world records, Roblox 8192 posted an individual level record in level 9 with a new double jump strategy, which was named Mid-Air Buddy Jumping or MBJ by speedrunner Peanuts. With this new tech being both easier and faster than motor jumping, it was no surprise that it started making its way into the records. Two days after its discovery, MBJ had completely taken over the run. While some levels use it to make the strategies more consistent, like the 3 and 12, some other levels thoughtfully reimagined using this new technique, like 7 and 9. With the sub 5 barrier just being broken, questions were immediately asked about the next minute barrier, sub 4. And with the finding of a new way to do MBJs, called moving MBJ, allowing for gaps to be crossed on both axes, speedrunner Peanuts will embark on a quest to answer the sub 4 question. And there you have it, red and blue balls in under 4 minutes. Looking at the run, it's hard to say if this is a last minute break or not. Slow executions in 6 and 9, taking 3 tries to get the rock jumps in 15 along with many more unoptimizations left a lot of time on the table. And with new strategies being found on a daily basis, someone was bound to improve the record soon. Moreover, the world record battle would soon turn from between 2 runners to 3. Before taking on RaBB, Purple Juice Box was already known as a record holder in the famous RT-ABC challenge in Super Mario 64. As expected, he would quickly adapt and improve his PB to reach a record contending level. Peanuts' 354 was obviously under threat, and all 3 runners would attempt to take it. Despite losing his record twice, Peanuts would smash the other 2 competitors and get a 334, 17 seconds ahead of PJB in 2nd place. But even though this record was a big jump, there were still a lot of mistakes in the run. Notably, there were bad levels like 5, 6, 12, and 13, plus taking multiple tries to get both 8th and 15. With many more time saves available, it seemed that 30x or even sub 3 might be possible in the distant horizon. But it would take a very dedicated runner to bring the game to that point, and in the case of RaBB, after the 334, it would be Purple Juice Box that would carry the torch forward. By the 5th of March, he was nearly there. After a series of PBs, he had already taken it down to a 307. The run was starting to get more optimized. There weren't many new strategies, but things like his quick MBJs, where he doesn't even jump on the other ball to the lineup, his full speed red ball movement in level 2, his incorporations of motor jumping were ever faster, and his overall less mistakes contribute to the time cut. Looking at the run, it's clearly visible where the mistakes were. A slow level 6 and especially the time losses into the final 3 levels prevented this from being a sub 3. As he was approaching the fabled barrier, it was as if there was an invisible wall stopping him from achieving the feat. Moreover, as Purple Juice Box would soon realize, he wouldn't be alone. By then, Roblox 8192 would return to the game, trying to break both minute barriers at the same time. With the record sitting at BJB's 307 and a 536 by Xbox in 20 levels, she was in a perfect position. Well, from just one, there were three now. After Peanuts got a 313, Roblox improved both records to a 303 and a 447 in 20 levels, the first ever sub 5. In the 447, she also got another 303, just barely slower than her first one. Both runs, with a good 15, were able to sub 3, proving that the barrier was now closer than ever, and it would take just one destined run to break it. And, on the same day as the 303s, history would be made. After breaking what was probably the final minute barrier in 15 levels and making RaBB the fastest game in the series, both Purple Juicebox and his competitors took a well-deserved break from doing record attempts. However, along with new runners playing the game, strat developments and some of best improvements were still actively happening, to the point where the SOB was under 220, nearly 40 seconds ahead of a current world record. With more IL strategies being mastered, it was just a matter of time before some of those strategies got incorporated into a run, and both the world records destroyed. And 2 months after the first sub 3, Both the records were taken down in the span of 2 days. Roblox 8192 achieved the second sub 3 on the board, along with breaking the 20 levels record in the process. And just 2 days later, with the assistance of a setup for the wall climb in 5 that saved around 5 seconds over the regular strategy, PJB would get a 252, finally breaking the 256 that had been standing for 2 months. 24x was now looking more feasible than ever, and the runners were absolutely ready to break it. On the very next day, Roblox 8192 would take back the record with a 251, with the help of another wall climb setup in level 13. Looking at the run, there were definitely spots to improve, like 6 and 12, but the run looked extremely clean. 24x looked like it would come very soon, and another breakthrough would push it even closer. Meet the Charge MBJ. With this new tech saving a lot of time in level 7, it allowed for even more wiggle room to achieve the fabled 24x. And, a day after its discovery, Roblox 8192 would get on the run of her life. Somehow, she entered level 15 over 15 seconds ahead of a 259 and 8 seconds ahead of her own 251. On 241 pace entering the final level, it was up to the rap gods to hand her the gold. There it was, the first ever 24x. Despite losing over 5 seconds in level 15, Roblox 8192 still smashed the barrier with a 246. However, she still had 5 levels to go for the 20 levels record, and being 12.7 seconds ahead into bonus levels, she could clutch a big record here too. .432, a record by 13 seconds. Despite the euphoria of just having broken the 24x barrier, Roblox would not let that phase her and completely demolish the 20 levels road record as well. The 241 pace in the 15 was truly ahead of its time, as other top runners still had a SOP that was higher than 241. Looking at the run, it is just extremely well refined. The obvious time loss was the 5.5 seconds time loss in 15, but other than that, it would be very difficult to improve anything else. She had outstanding MBJ execution, only using 1 pause as opposed to other top players using 2 pauses. She executed every strategy to perfection, hitting the wall climbs in 5 and 13 flawlessly. With this run, Roblox 8192 would cement herself as one of Red and Blue Ball's finest, and she would retire from world record attempts for good. Having been left behind in the dust, both Purple Juice Box and Peanuts got back on the grind. Right after Roblox's 246, more strategies were developed. A CMBJ was used in both 8 and 11 to save time over the old strats, and more IL strategies were starting to peek their way into full game attempts. And soon enough, they would start getting on world record paces. Peanuts got very close to beating Roblox's run with a 2:46 on the very next day, coming within hundredths of a second, and PJB also got some promising paces that died to late game. As they creeped closer to the record, it didn't seem to budge. Even with the rediscovery of moving red ball while blue balls falls in level 9, they still can't quite break the world record. But eventually, it would fall. And on the 20th of May, it would be Purple Juice Box who would snatch it with a 2:46.4. The run did not use the 13 wall climb, and 6 was not that great, but new time saves plus a good 15 put this run ahead. At this point, both Purple Juice Box and Roblox 8192 had enjoyed quite a bit of success recently. Of the big three runners, Peanuts was the only one who hadn't tasted the record in a long time. Well, after PJB's 2:46, he would attempt to get a 2-3x, using some new IL strategies and other wall scaling setup in level 9. Saving 4 seconds, phase 9 as it's called, was the key to the next 10-second barrier. Peanuts was determined to join the other two in breaking those barriers, and just 2 days after PJB's run, after achieving an unrecorded record of 2:44, he would get this.
I did it. I did it. Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is too crazy. Oh my gosh. I did it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Dude. What? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Still time save.
It was a 7.5 second time cut off of the world record, and Peanuts had finally achieved this goal, and he would take a break from RaBB right after achieving the run. With 2 of the 3 runners who had made RaBB what it was not playing anymore, Purple Juice Box was the only one left. Still determined to make the record his own, he would push on. and on May 25th, he would take back the record with a 2:38.5 and decided to take a break as well. Even with Peanuts coming back to try and improve the record to a 2:2x, he would eventually burn out and quit rap for good. With all three runners either retired or were taking a break, this era of red and blue balls had officially come to an end. However, in speedrunning, when an era ends, a new one would take its place. While the three titans were battling it out, there were other runners who had joined the scene and posted runs of their own too. There were runners who only did a few tries, and there were also runners who grinded for a decently good time. However, of all those new faces, two runners would stuck out the most: Face McDude and Jonas Gaming. First, let's talk about Face McDude. As you can tell, this was the guy who found Phase 9 and made 23x viable. Starting his rap journey in late April, he would quickly improve his PBs, and as the battle rages on up top, he would come even closer. By early June, his PB was down to an unrecorded 303 and a 306 on video. He was closing in on the sub 3, but sadly, he never came back to rap after that. And even though he was only around for just over a month, it was indescribable how much of an effect he had on the community. And while he never became the fourth person to ever get a sub 3, the other runner, Jonas Gaming, would carry on his legacy.
Top 3, let's go! Finally. Oh my god.
Less than 2 weeks since he started running a game, Jonas had gotten a sub 3, only the fourth player to ever do it at the time. There weren't really many strategies that Jonas could rely on to beat the current record, but he would still find some new ways to save time. For example, he found a new method of doing moving MBJs where he paused very quickly to gain more speed on the bottom ball to make further gaps. After taking a short break, he would return in late July with the goal of reaching the top of the RaBB mountain.
Yes! World records! Oh my god. I got it. Yes, oh my god. I fucking got it. I got it. Oh my god. Let me look at chat. I closed my phone when I... Oh my god.
On the 16th of August, Jonas finally achieved what he sought out to do, and claimed the RaBB world record with a 2:36. Moreover, it was a double world record with a 4:21 in 20 levels. Jonas was now atop of the mountain, and deservedly so. However, what happened next truly brought the RaBB speedrunning scene to greater heights. On the 22nd of August, less than a week after Jonas's world record, Maximum would upload the How Double Jumping Broke Red and Blue Ball Speedruns video. As expected, it directed the community's attention to RaBB speedrunning, and more runners started to dip their toes into the RaBB lake. More runners than ever were starting to run red and blue balls, but before anyone could get their skill level up to compete for the world record, an old legend would return to take the spotlight. At the beginning of September, Purple Juice Box announced that he would return to RaBB for the first sub 230, announcing the grind in the RaBB 1 channel of the Red Ball Speedrunning Discord. His grind would start on the 6th of September, featuring new strategies like Pauseless 5 or Task 10. Unbelievably, on just his 4th day of doing attempts, he would get on the pace of his life. Somehow, he was 7.6 seconds ahead of his personal best into level 14. His best possible time read a 2:28 into level 14, with time to save on his gold in level 15. On his best pace ever, he just needed a passable 14 and 15 for this to be 2x. The best possible time dropped to a 2:30. However, with time to save on his gold in level 15, he could still get a 2-2x. Even if the 15 was suboptimal, this was still easily world record pace. 4 months ago, when Roblox 8192 was on the pace of her life, she clutched out a good enough 15 for her goal. Now, 4 months later, it was Purple Juice Box's turn to do the exact same. It was just too much. The pressure of being on the pace of his life caused him to choke it away. Once-in-a-lifetime paces are very rare in any speed game, and the feeling of choking away is indescribable. When that happens, the regret can last for a long time, especially if the grind goes on for longer and longer. However, if you're determined, those failures can only boost you forward to higher greatness. While the joke was heartbreaking, Purple Juice Box was still pressed on. Moreover, with new developments in levels 18 and 19, he would also aim to get a sub 4 in 20 levels. For what could be the final barriers, he was destined to conquer it. $229.15. He had, for the time being, broken the final 10-second barrier in 15 levels. There were definitely better paces, but for the time being, they didn't seem to matter. He was euphoric. and people around the community congratulated him for the achievement. Red and blue balls had finally gotten a worthy run. When PJB was grinding for the first ever 2x, some runners were starting to have interest in the game, making it a little bit more crowded. To bring even more runners into the game and incentivize them, the rap crew decided to open a red and blue balls beginners tournament, and, as expected, old and new runners came in droves. By the end of November, even though the beginner tournament never got completed, the leaderboards had a complete makeover. The number of runners who had attained a sub 3 more than doubled, and new faces were starting to get close to the record. However, during this time, there were huge developments at the top, but not in 15 levels. This is the quest for sub 4 in 20 levels. Back in early March, when sub 3 was first achieved, 20 levels also had what was seemingly its final barrier broken as well, which was sub 5. By the time the 3x grinds were done, a record stood at a 432 by Robloxit192 and then a 421 by Jonas Gaming. Throughout the next few months, while improvements to the 15 levels record had definitely helped 20 levels, the two most important strategies that created a sub 4 viable route were in bonus levels. First, a complete route makeover in 18, making it basically the task route, which saved over 15 seconds on the record. Second, there was a new 19 route which saved around 8 seconds, but required a quite risky wall jump to execute. With those two strategies alone added on to the 236, sub 4 was already possible. However, it would be quite the challenge. As shown in the earlier montage, PJB got two new records with a new 19 strategy during his 2x grind, which were a 414 and a 409. In this 409, if it weren't for failing the wall jump in 19 4 times, he would have achieved the sub 4. And while it was a bit more viable, you still needed quite a good run to achieve it. At the time, the bonus levels record, which was just a run of 5 bonus levels, sat at a 109 by Jonas, adding on the 1.5 seconds load time between 15 and 16, plus the story skip, and it can be pretty safe to assume that it was a 112 between the end of 15 and the end of 20. However, Jonas's record is no slouch, with both of the aforementioned strategies being nailed on the first try. In a full game setting, with the pressure of breaking the sub 4 barrier on, nailing both on the first go is not easy, and not to mention the other 3 levels. Even then, 19 wall jump can be retried for not much time loss, which leaves a time in the high 1-1x to low 1-2x range doable in a full game setting. With this, a high 3x or low 4x is needed in 15 levels, which is not an easy time to achieve. Even then, the top runners knew that sub 4 was within reach. After PJB's 2x, he decided to take a break and not pursue the sub 4 in 20 levels. And while all the new runners started to make their names, none seemed ready to go for sub 4. Finally, by early November, one already established name would return: Jonas Gaming. By November 9th, Jonas had retaken both records with a 228 in 15 levels and a 402 in 20 levels. Heartbreakingly, he would miss sub 4 due to a slow bonus levels section, marked by mistakes in levels 17 and 18, leading to huge time losses. Despite being so close to the minute barrier, Jonas would stop going for it for the time being. However, one other runner would bring him back to the grind. On the 20th of November, the Xbox Jaja was doing some RaBB attempts. His PBs at the time were a 248 and a 447, not close to the world record or the sub 4 at all. However, everyone knew what he was capable of, and it would take just one run for him to make his statement. He would achieve a new PB of 244. Sub 4 in 20 levels seemed unlikely at this point, but it was still possible, and knowing that, Xbox pressed on. A clean 16 and 17 put him on borderline sub 4 pace. This could be the run. Slightly unoptimal, but it wasn't dead. With a new 19 route that he was intending to go for, he can make this run a sub 4. The route required a frame-perfect motor jump and wall jump for red ball, and 2 good pause jumps for blue ball, much more difficult than Jonas's route. Xbox would have to execute this perfectly if he wanted to get sub 4. Unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be. Still, he got a new record with a 401.9, his first since January. Only 2 seconds away, and with Jonas and PJP returning, it was anyone's guess as to who would get the first sub 4. And on the 22nd of November, we would get the answer. Jonas Gaming broke what is almost certainly the final minute barrier in RaBB speedrunning, and now, all members of the RaBB quartet have broken important minute barriers, but that is not where this story ends. By late November, around when Jonas got the first sub 4, Purple Juicebox also returned to practicing and doing record attempts in 15 levels. In his Twitch streams, he had one goal in a corner, 2-1x. To achieve this goal, he had multiple new strategies in hand to save time. First was full IL5 with a positive setup and also a setup for Red Ball to wall climb. Second was a new strategy, Water 7, where water physics was used to lift Blue Ball up and allow Red Ball to bounce on them at a higher altitude. With those two strategies in Phase 9, Task 10, and good execution, PJB created a RaBB ideal run, a 2:17. With only 2 seconds of leeway, 2-1x seemed very difficult, but PJB will not be deterred.
Yes! I'll take it.
Near the end of the year, his PB sat at a 2:26. With 11 being the main time loss of the run, he was nearer to a low 2x than ever, especially with the several 15 chokes on 2:21 or 2:22 pace. However, he would take a break from RaBB to focus on improving his own record in RTABC. Then, by the new year, the desire to get 1x returned. By February, he was properly derusted, and he would go back to doing runs. 1x was the goal. By mid-February, his PB was down to a 2:23.0. With heartbreaking chokes to the final few levels starting to become the norm, he was starting to feel burnt out. The last few times he took a break from RaBB, he always returned stronger than ever. However, this break was way longer than usual. It felt like he was tired for trying to achieve such a difficult milestone, but eventually, by October, he would return for 1x once again. But the grind never got anywhere. This was starting to get absurd. Nearly a year since its beginning, Herbal Juice Box was still over 3 seconds away from his goal. No one else was running the game at the top level, and few runners even ran the game at all. RaBB was starting to become inactive, just like how it was before MBJ. But this time, something just feels incomplete. 223.0 was a good record, but the fact that it was short of what was possibly the final ever 10-second barrier due to just one level left a weird feeling on PJP specifically. So, by September, despite hadn't done 1x attempts in nearly a year, he would return for his ultimate achievement. So close and yet so far away. On the 24th of September, he would get a 220.033, 2 frames off of his goal. He had been grinding for half a month at that point, and the chokes, they just keep on coming. If this was him a year ago, he would have given up, but this purple juice box is different. And with everyone by his side, nothing can stop this man.
Yes! 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 Let's fucking go! Ah!
After 2 years of grinding, Purple Juice Box broke what is the final 10-second barrier in Red and Blue Balls, achieving a 219.133, concluding the long journey that spanned over 4 years and 70 records in both categories. When Motor Jam found motor jumping for the first time, when YTK, Mario or Xbox traded records during those quiet eras, when the three titans of Red and Blue Ball speedrunning stood shoulder to shoulder, fighting for every barrier, trading every knowledge, getting every record. When Jonas came along as a new competitor, achieving solid world records, breaking barriers, pushing the game to newer heights. And even when PJB himself got closer than ever to the 21X, no one ever thought this was going to be a reality. But here we are, with all the communities, the Stratfinders, the Tassers, the Runners, and PJB's efforts finally paid off. Finally, Red and Blue Balls have a run worthy of its beauty. As of today, 219.133 is where the record stands, with little to no intention from any of the top runners to return. While more strategies can be implemented, at some point, the run will become so difficult that it will take a truly dedicated runner to even attempt the madness. Currently, the IL sum of best sits at a 2-flat.067 and the task sits at 154. However, taking full game viability into the equation, the strategies sit right between the fine line of an OX, and it doesn't seem like any breakthrough is coming soon. However, if we have learned anything from the past, it's that there is no stopping the rap enthusiasts. While this story may have concluded, one day, another will take its place. Red and Blue Balls was once the worst game by far in the series, with both casual and competitive play being completely absent. However, through all the adversity, the game has grown and evolved over time to become one of the best speed games in the series. The dedication and creativity of those runners cannot be understated, and this is just a small slice of their efforts to bring this game to perfection. And, from the entire Red and Blue Balls community,
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
thanks for watching.